Councilmember Fernandez is joining us virtual at the moment. Hello, Councilmember Fernandez. Oh, she's muted. Sorry, one moment.
Hello.
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 Councilmember Woods, Councilmember Ambrose, Councilmember Osnick, Mayor Pro Tem Lublin, and Mayor Ackley. Thank you. We did, I will now turn it over to you, Mayor, for pledge, if you don't mind.
We're all set?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, welcome everyone. I'd like now to please stand. We'll do the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The invocation will now be said by Mayor Pro Tem Lublin.
It's on its way. Dear God, we ask you to preside over this meeting tonight. Help us to act as a unified team to open our hearts and make fair and just decisions that improve our community. Also, may we come together as a whole with the courage and strength to show kindness and compassion as we collectively work towards the betterment of humanity. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Ackley,
Here.
Ambrose,
Here.
Fernandez,
Here.
Locke, Lublin,
Here.
Osnick,
Here.
Woods.
Here.
Mayor Ackley, we did have correspondence from Councilmember Locke, but she will not be in attendance tonight. Might have a motion.
A motion, please, to excuse.
I'll make that motion.
Postmaker second.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, at this time, we have a special item on our agenda. It's special, it's good, but it's also sad. We have the retirement of our longtime fire chief. And at this time, I would like to do a presentation, and I'm going to have Ms. Jagway read that. The proclamation, I'm sorry.
For folks who are attending electronically, give me one moment to share my screen. City of Walled Lake, Michigan proclamation declaring Chief James O. Coomer, Jr. Day, September 29, 2023. Whereas James O. Coomer, Jr. dedicated himself to the continuous improvement of the quality of life for Walled Lake citizens as he performed his job with professionalism, integrity, compassion, and pride for over 40 years, and whereas James O. Coomer, Jr. has shown commitment in the performance of his duties, which include protecting public safety and health and welfare, and whereas the professional and personal commitment of Chief James O. Coomer, Jr. contributes to the most efficient and effective operation of our city, and whereas the essential services the Walled Lake Fire Department provides while being led by Chief James O. Coomer, Jr. makes a difference every day and enhances the quality of life for those who live, work, or visit in our great city. And whereas the City Council has expressed gratitude this day to our fire chief, who demonstrates leadership, courage, and compassion in serving the citizens of Walled Lake and the surrounding communities. Now, therefore, upon his retirement after 40 years of service, on behalf of the City Council of Walled Lake, Michigan, I, Linda S. Ackley, Mayor, do hereby declare the day of September 29th, 2023 to be Chief James O. Coomer, Jr. Day in the City of Walled Lake, and urge our citizens to commend the extraordinary efforts and commitment of our fire department under the leadership of James O. Coomer, Jr. In witness whereof, I hereunto set my hand and cause the great seal of the city to be affixed this 19th day of September in the year of our Lord, 2023.
Thank you very much, Mayor Ackley, City Council. It's been a privilege to serve the community. Walled Lake, this is the community I grew up in. Delivered papers here, just a local as it gets, I guess. So I know a lot of people, and I really care about the community, and it's been a pleasure serving everybody. The firefighters that I've worked with for the last 40 years, and currently, there's been a variety of them, just a dedicated bunch, unbelievable what they perform, what they do. I hear from citizens all the time. They'll call up. Last week I had 2 phone calls, and just saying how good our team did. So I always try to say, well, you know what, maybe send a letter. You know, I know about it really well, but you send a letter, but not everybody always does that. So, yeah, the dedication and the pride of all these individuals that are here now, and the people that I started with 40 years ago. When I first started, I was a cadet. I was 15 years old. I grew up next door to a police officer in the city of Walled Lake, Jerry Wilson. He retired here as a sergeant. Huge mentor of mine, along with several other folks. Chief Bill Fryer. Some of the group here remembers Bill Fryer. He was 82nd Airborne, 3 tours in Vietnam. We have a marker out front of the fire station for Bill Fryer. He's a great man. He hired me full time, along with Michael J. Dornan. He was the city manager at the time, and just to give given me a chance at being a firefighter, it was the greatest thing. But being the chief for the last 10 years, a couple of years as interim, I wouldn't trade it for the world. It's been a great honor to be a servant here in the city of Walled Lake, and very humble. I'd like to recognize my mom, Mary Ann Coomer. Couldn't do it without my mom or dad. My dad is not well and he couldn't be here this evening. My wife and 2 daughters, they couldn't be here either. But all their support over the years and what they've given me, I couldn't do it without them. So I'm sure I'm forgetting something. But again, I appreciate everybody coming out this evening, all the firefighters, the police officers, all the different departments that I work with. I think one of my favorite positions was the fire marshal, just because you got to work with all the different departments and then all the business owners in town, and the principals, and there was you learned a lot about building construction, and that was one of the highlights of my career as far as with being the fire marshal. It was a great job. So again, thank you for giving me this opportunity to serve the city of Walled Lake. Thank you.
Again, thank you, Jim. You'll be greatly missed, and we appreciate all the years that you gave to the city. But I'm also sure we'll be seeing you around. You're not the station, and the city's in your blood, so I'm sure you'll be back.
Under your direction, Mayor Ackley, we have prepared a resolution. If you wouldn't mind, I can pass that out.
Please. Would you like to read this so the audience?
State of Michigan, County of Oakland, City of Walled Lake. A resolution expressing gratitude with appreciation by honoring Fire Chief James O. Coomer Jr. for 40 years of service to the City of Walled Lake and congratulating him on his retirement. At a regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Walled Lake, Oakland County, Michigan, held in the council chambers at 1499 East West Maple, Walled Lake, Michigan, 48390 on the 19th day of September 2023 at 7:30 p.m. Whereas James O. Coomer Jr., a Walled Lake native, showed interest in the fire service at an early age and in June of 1983 applied for a position with the fire department. And whereas thereafter James O. Coomer Jr. began his career in the fire service over 40 years ago in 1983 as a firefighter with the City of Walled Lake Fire Department, Walled Lake, Michigan. And whereas firefighter James O. Coomer Jr. was commended in April of 1989 by State Senator Richard D. Fessler for his courageous actions of rescuing a resident from a burning apartment building. And whereas James O. Coomer Jr. has risen in rank to the most senior firefighter position, Chief of the Fire Department, and had the honor of wearing the Walled Lake Fire Department badge for over the past 40 years. And whereas James O. Coomer Jr.'s service and devotion to the city and its fire operations have proven to be an enormous benefit to the City of Walled Lake and its residents in numerous ways, all of which have contributed to the City of Walled Lake having the finest fire department in the area. And whereas James O. Coomer Jr., having served the City of Walled Lake, Michigan, for over 40 years of fire and emergency service, has decided to retire from the city service. And whereas the Walled Lake City Council believes it is in the best interest of the city, its residents, its employees, and the surrounding communities to recognize, honor, and thank James O. Coomer Jr. for his years of devoted service to the City of Walled Lake. Now therefore, upon motion of Mayor Linda Ackley and second by Councilmember John Osnick, be it resolved by the City Council of Walled Lake, Michigan, that Section 1, the City of Walled Lake, Mayor and Council, and its residents hereby congratulate James O. Coomer Jr. upon his retirement and thank him for 40 years of dedication to serving the City of Walled Lake and the surrounding communities, and wish him well in all future endeavors. Section 2, this resolution unanimously passed this 19th day of September 2023 shall become effective immediately upon Chief Coomer's last day of service to the City of Walled Lake, Michigan. Section 3, the city manager is authorized and directed to provide public notice of this resolution.
Okay, at this time, let's make it official and have a roll call vote, please.
Fernandez. Councilmember Fernandez. Okay, we'll come back to her. Locke, Lublin,
Yes.
Osnick,
Yes.
Woods,
Yes.
Ambrose,
Yes.
Ackley,
Yes.
Fernandez.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, the resolution is official, and at this time, I think it's appropriate if we take a recess and we can spend, I think we have
Do a cake in the back?
there's cake someplace. I saw the table. But we weren't sure how many was coming, so I guess they put it in the back. We'll have some cake and everybody can mingle, talk a little bit, and say their goodbyes to Jim, and then we'll come back in session. Okay? request.
Yes, Mayor, what I'd like to do is, on number 7, under new business, change it to anticipate first reading.
Okay, yes.
Anticipate the first reading.
Okay, why don't we make that first reading and put it under unfinished business since what it really is, it's a carryover from the last meeting.
Okay.
So let's make a unfinished item here.
Okay.
We can do it, I guess.
Number
after-
1.
We can do it after the attorney's report as well.
Sounds good.
Okay. Anything else? Okay. Next is audience participation. I'll turn that over to Jennifer.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. For those audience members that are in attendance physically, there is a podium that you may approach and you have 3 minutes to speak. Please state your name and address. For those members that are attending virtually, you will have 3 minutes to speak. We do ask for your name, and you may press star 9 on your telephone keypad to raise the, or activate the hand feature. Is there anybody? There is nobody online, and there are no members physically who wish to speak.
Okay. Next up will be council report. Is there any council member who has a report on the committee? or-
Excuse me, Mayor, we have approval of the minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped over that. Thank you.
Welcome.
Approval of minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes from August 15th?
I'll just make a motion.
Wait a second.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Lublin?
Yes.
Osnick?
Yes.
Woods?
Yes.
Ambrose?
Yes.
Fernandez?
Yes.
Thank you. Ackley?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Now we're on the right track. We'll go into council report. Any member of council have a report on a board or commission that they attend or that they're a member of?
Well, we had a planning commission meeting here last week, and but I would defer to our staff to give us a report on all of that. That would be Hannah.
Correct. Mr. Osnick is right. We did have a meeting last week. One of the items that was presented before the Planning Commission was a resubmittal for 800 North Pontiac Trail for the proposed Taco Bell site. As you may all be aware, the Taco Bell that we currently have in Walled Lake is looking to relocate and stay in Walled Lake. We received revised site plan, and the revised plan showed that they were able to relocate their detention pond and move it into underground, create an underground storage for their stormwater management. By moving it underground, they were able to increase their parking, so they were able to provide parking for not only their business, but the surrounding businesses as well. We are under the impression that the private business was able to create an agreement with the surrounding businesses, so that way access is not interrupted during that development. They did receive a site plan and special land use, so now they're going to be moving into the construction phase. The Big Boy building that is currently on site will be demolished and replaced with a Taco Bell and a drive-through.
Thank you. Anything else?
I have a report on the library. We did not meet. There was not a quorum on Friday, but last Friday. But the major renovation project has been mostly completed. We're just waiting for some carpeting that was shorted for a little bit of the area. It looks great. The bookshelves are all current with like open, there's no wall in behind, so it's got a great look. All the flooring in the meeting room I have to give a shout out to our library director, Carrie Ralston, who, we closed down August 21st, and the job was completed. They were reopened on September 12th, and it was planned to be September 11th. So that's pretty good in today's construction world to just be one day, behind schedule. But we're proud of it, and it looks great, and she's doing a nice job with the staff, and really she leads the budget. I think we added $45,000 to the fund balance, and we are at like 67% fund balance to expenditures, which is a very healthy number. So library's being run well, and we're proud of the way it looks. Come by and look.
Great. Anyone else? Okay, the mayor's report. I think the mayor's taking care of everything that I needed to do this evening. City manager's report.
Mayor, members of council, I would request that you move to receive and file items listed on number one in the consent agenda. After that, I have a verbal report will be coming from the police chief on code enforcement. So a motion to receive and file the consent agenda, item one.
Okay, do I have a motion, please?
Lublin will make the motion to receive and file the statistical reports.
Is there support?
Ambrose will support.
Any discussion or questions? Roll call, please.
Lublin?
Yes.
Osnick?
Yes.
Woods?
Yes.
Ambrose?
Yes.
Fernandez?
Yes.
Thank you. Locke? Ackley?
Yes.
Thank you.
Chief Chikens, could you brief the council, brief being the operative phrase, on
Yes.
code enforcement?
All right, good evening, council. Summer is always the busiest time for code enforcement. This is when we find out the residents and business owners who don't like to cut their grass and maintain their properties. It really comes out and shows. So as you know, we have a part-time police officer who does code enforcement, and he stays pretty busy this time of year. We have had some good wins. I don't know, today if you saw 426 East Lake next to Mercer Beach, the dilapidated fence we've been fighting with. This is the second owner. We finally got him to pull permit and put up a beautiful black wrought iron fence, and it should be completed tomorrow. If you haven't been by, it's worth taking a look. Because being on the edge of downtown, we'll take those little victories. That was hard fought. One of the things that came out of the DDA meeting was 121 North Pontiac Trail. The blue building has been referred to, the apartments there. That's been a problem. It's been addressed numerous times. Unfortunately, we get very little response out of the owner there. He doesn't seem to care. I would anticipate we'll see fire marshal, our code enforcement officer, our city attorney involved in getting that building up to speed one way or another. So hopefully we'll get some cooperation, but that has been a hot topic. So we look forward to any kind of feedback. One of the things that we left at each one of your places is a letter that went out to all the businesses that go along our linear park for the Airline Trailway. That was sent out in August. And I have to remind you that City finally took possession, and it's ours, it's our baby. So some of the business owners have been responsive, some not so much. So in code enforcement, we're going to ask them, we're going to notify them, and we're going to, at that point, if we can't get cooperation from businesses, we expect either late fall or early spring to get some enforcement done and get that cleaned up in the way that the vision that you all expect. Kaylee Hall, our newly appointed Trailline manager, is working with Paul Barch hand in hand to make sure that those properties are identified and we get some progress. So, council has any questions or concerns?
Anyone have any questions?
We have further report on all of that in terms of who's been assigned to certain things, so we'll be able to ask those questions again when we get there. Ms. Hall will be doing a presentation, short presentation.
Thank you, council. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Item number 2 is the gateway improvements. We may revisit a couple of things, but Ms. Jakeway, please begin the briefing the council on our gateway improvements.
Thank you, Manager Witt. Decker Road, as you all know, is a gateway into the city. And happening on Decker Road, we do have a few proposed projects. One of them is a proposed commercial development at the corner of 14 Mile and Decker. We have received a site plan for a drive-through Starbucks and another retail component. The city is looking to expedite this case to go before the October Planning Commission. The Starbucks located in Novi is going to be looking to relocate in Walled Lake. So we're looking for that project to come before Planning Commission next month. Another gateway into Walled Lake is also 14 Mile. And as you all know, we're anticipating the resurfacing of 14 Mile. And as early as today, city manager and myself, we did drive down 14 Mile all the way down to Haggerty to observe any kind of activity that would hint at the repaving or the resurfacing project. As of today, no activity or equipment was observed, but we continually check the Road Commission's website as well as continually drive down these streets to be prepared for when that project will start. The Road Commission is going to be doing this project, so they're going to be the ones who will have the most information on this resurfacing. In addition to 14 Mile and Decker, the Come and Go also received site plan and special land use approval earlier this few months ago. We're waiting for the building and construction plans to come through, and we're looking to see that come up out of the ground at the corner down here. With all of these projects in mind, the city continues to maintain and promote the integrity of our gateways, as we know that they are very important to the development of the city. So as we continue these projects, maintaining the Decker Road integrity is always a priority for the city. Additionally, we did talk about Pontiac Trail, the Taco Bell that will be coming shortly. And another gateway improvement project, we also are staying abreast of 615 North Pontiac Trail, the old the old community education site. No further movement has happened, but we're still staying abreast on any kind of things that could be happening at that site. And that is all of the gateway improvements that we have currently going on.
Good. Why don't you go right into the city event so that Ms. Hall can...
Let's see. So one of the city events that we have upcoming next week is actually the annual State of the Lakes luncheon hosted by the Chamber of Commerce. Under Mayor Ackley's leadership, she has invited council members, city staff, and board members to attend next Tuesday, September 26th. And there will be also a few guest speakers from Oakland County as well. Mayor Ackley has also invited County Commissioner A.J. Rahman to attend. This is a great event to network with the surrounding businesses, as well as get to know the surrounding community's leaders and what is going on in our neighborhoods. In addition to Commissioner Rahman, Mayor Ackley has also invited a special guest, my close friend and the First Lady of Walled Lake, Miss Witt, will be in attendance, and her husband, City Manager Witt, will be there. In addition to other city events that we're looking forward to, Ms. Hall is our newly appointed Parks and Recreation Coordinator. In addition to overseeing the marketplace operations, she has been tasked with the duties of overseeing the Mayor Ackley's Trunk or Treat event and the annual tree lighting ceremony. I'd like to invite her to brief council on where we're at on those events.
Thank you, City Manager Witt. Thank you, Ms. Jakeways. Good evening, Mayor and Council. We have some wonderful upcoming city events that we have the pleasure of working on. The first one is, of course, Mayor Ackley's Trunk or Treat. This is taking place on October 29th from 12 to 2 p.m. We have the pleasure of working with Greenhouse staff to plan the event. We are currently looking to add a photo booth opportunity for the kids. We're going to have Halloween-themed props and a background for them. And we're also working on adding a gaming component to it where we'll have prize packages that they can win too. We're happy to say we have confirmed the petting zoo and pony rides for the event again this year, so we're hoping that'll be a big success. And then our biggest task at the moment is looking to recruit more individual participants to have trunks this year. Greenhouse staff early this week is delivering flyers to local businesses and establishments in hopes of doing that. And I'm also going to be working with the marketplace vendors and local businesses as well. So we'll be working together on that in the coming weeks to make sure we have lots of participants for the trunk or treat. I also want to touch on the marketplace. We are happy to say that we've been having continual improvement with the increase in vendors this year. We have a highest of 47, and we started with 12 to 15. So we're working really good with the rebranding. And we do have our fall festival tomorrow. We're going to have free cider and donuts. We'll have grab and go station with crafts, coloring sheets, activities for the kids, live music. Our Walled Lake Library is going to be doing a story time there as well. So we're super excited about that. And also upcoming with the market was the transition to the marketplace. And with that, we've had continually seeing each week individuals are expressing interest in paying for the whole season next year and finishing out this season with just the 6 markets we have left as well. So really good to see that improvement. We've also noticed increased usage of the Trailway throughout the market and with the rebranding to the marketplace as well. With the Trailway and the new management and us owning the trail, we will be having a presence in the upcoming months out there. We'll be looking at the code enforcement issues, working on new signage for the Walled Lake Trail, as well as looking at any safety concerns out there. We've had some expresses of bikers and signage, so we're going to be working to make sure that everything is safe, up to date, cut, whatever we need to do to make the Walled Lake Trail a great place to attend. I lastly wanted to touch on the tree lighting on December 4th. That'll be at 7 p.m. We're currently looking to solidify our theme. We have 2 in mind. We have a Nutcracker theme, and then we also have the traditional truck theme. You may see that around Thanksgiving and other holidays as well if you're familiar. Once we solidify the theme, we'll be ordering the ornaments, working on, of course, the hot cocoa station, very popular, and moving forward with those tasks as well. We'll also be looking to solidify Mrs. and Mr. Claus, as well as our carol. And then we do need a new pastor for the invocation. Unfortunately, we don't have anyone at the moment, so that is our biggest task as well. We look forward to all of these events. We hope that you will visit some of them, visit us at the market. Hopefully we'll see some of you at the Fall Festival from 11 to 2 tomorrow. And I lastly wanted to thank council for the opportunity to undertake these new projects and to learn and grow with each one. If anyone has any questions, I'm happy to help, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well presented. Very nice.
Mayor, let me add to a couple of things. I would point out that under her duties, her assignment as the recreation coordinator, she will hold the title of marketplace manager, and she will hold the title as the first Walled Lake Trail manager. Those all overlap. Actually, she did a very nice job of explaining that. So she's going to bring a lot to the table. But that's going to be short-lived because most of you know that she's also one of our reserve police officers. She will be we're assigning her to the police academy in January. She'll become a full-time police officer then, or full-time, fully certified police officer, and then we'll determine what she does when she gets back. We believe she's going to be, she was president of her reserve officer class. We think she might be president of that class, but I believe she's chosen Oakland Police Academy, 3 options, so she'll be going, but that won't be till January, late January, so you'll see a lot of her doing those kinds of things that she explained. I thought she did a very nice job of doing that work. Thank you, Officer Hall.
Thank you. Does that complete everything you have, sir?
No, ma'am, I've had some staff assignments I'm due. I'd like a couple people to come forward. I would like Brandon Jousman to come forward. He will be appointed as a lieutenant of police. Brandon has been with the department for some time. He's also our undercover guy. He's in uniform, but he's usually undercover. I usually only see him when he's blowing past me on 5 at noontime. I'm going to the being late for the DEA meetings. But Brandon is the guy that brings all of the forfeiture money with us. This will make Brandon third in charge of our police department. This promotion will be permanent, and it will be effective at the next paycheck. So I thought, since this is all going to happen before the next meeting, thought you need to know that. We're not changing his position now. This has to do with managing the police department, because we're going to make more adjustments here later in the evening. Deputy Chief Coke, come forward. You can say that, Brandon. Deputy Chief Koki will be promoted to acting chief of police effective September 29th. There's a reason for that day. She will be deputy chief, acting as chief of police. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Jason Gonzalez will come forward. Jason Gonzalez will be permanently promoted to deputy fire chief, and he will be remain as our fire marshal. Firefighter Shakindis will come forward. A man who has great experience in the fire service. He's been running our department, one of our departments, and doing budgets for how many years? 14?
Yeah.
About 14 years. Firefighter Shakindis will be appointed as interim fire chief. Beginning
4 years ago.
September 29th. He actually has jump out gear. The only thing he doesn't have, well, at least we didn't know, I found out he already has a white hat. He's had it since the day he got certified as a firefighter. So he'll be acting as the interim. He's not acting for anybody, be interim fire chief. And the reason we're doing that, Ms. Gross will explain what we're doing here.
Well, as you know now, Chief Coomer is going to be retiring on the 29th, so that leaves an open position for fire chief. The city manager and I have been working on a job posting. We expect to get it out within the next week or so. We're going to do that internally as well as statewide through the Michigan Municipal League, and we expect it to take up to a couple months till we fill that position, that full-time fire chief position.
In the interim, we're going to take that opportunity to audit the fire department, audit equipment, audit those things that you need to do. When the chief of police took over, the first thing I had to do was audit. In his case, it was the property room, the most important part there. So we're going to do the audit on the equipment, the policies and all of that, and see what needs adjustments may or may be useful. This is a time to do that kind of thing. And we expect it will take a couple of months, as the Human Resource Director says, to get the applicants in. We're going to post in-house as early as this week, perhaps, and we'll see who's applying in-house. I expect it to be a couple of people applying, maybe a couple. Anyway, that's pretty much it. I think those are exciting assignments for a whole lot of folks, and I'd like to congratulate all of them. Firefighter Shakindis, you may be the most...
More than I thought.
Congratulations, you all. You may sit down. We're going to do real business now.
That is real business.
Now are you finished?
I think I'm finished to give Ms. Gross instructions. She's got a lot of paperwork to do beginning tomorrow, so all of that gets passed through. And we look for a great response on that firefighter application. We expect that they'll be looking from all over. Jim leaves us in a really good place with the fire department. There'll be people who want that spot. I don't know if Paul's going to apply permanently or
I won't accept that.
I'm finished, Mayor. You may move
Okay.
on to the other business.
Okay, correspondence,
No, Madam Mayor.
attorney's report.
Yes, just to update you briefly on the Trailway. As you recall, last meeting, you approved a resolution regarding a financial settlement with the Trailway Council per the interlocal agreement. At that time, the Trailway Council had not yet conveyed ownership of the Walled Lake section of the trail to the city of Walled Lake. That has since been done. They have sent the deed, it's been recorded, so the Trailway property that's located in the city of Walled Lake officially is now the property that belongs to the city of Walled Lake. It's no longer the property of the Trailway Council. They did need to, the manager did tell me he needed to present the financial settlement at the next meeting of the Trailway Council before they sent the check, but we expect that to be coming in the near future. That's all I have.
Excuse me. Thank you. Okay, next item is unfinished business, and that would be first reading of C-370-23. This is the one that we tabled from the last meeting.
It's the last page of your packet, 95, but we moved it.
What was that?
It's just the last page of your packet, it's right on page 95.
Right.
Yeah.
Fine.
Find it sooner.
Yeah, I know, sorry about that. Thank you.
Okay. We had some discussion about it at the last meeting, and
Do we formally need to make a motion and have it seconded before we do go into discussion again?
We need a motion to untable?
no, there's no motion on the table at this time. It was held over until the meeting.
Okay, basically, we're taking it off the table.
Right.
Okay. So we're open for discussion.
Yes.
I had some discussion with some folks that do this for a living, and the cost of repairing anything under the roads would be egregious as far as cost is concerned. Very, very costly. And at this point in time, I would say that this resolution needs to be reworked, and with possibly additional language of possibly only limiting the culpability of the homeowners to $500. That would be kind of something that would still satisfy, but then we would need to still have the city take responsibilities for the remainder of the cost if it needed to be taken into consideration. Also, if you had to dig up underneath Pontiac Trail or South Commerce, you would have to have traffic control. You would also have to have maintained the right-of-way. So you'd have to have one lane open, especially on the Pontiac Trail. You'd have to have one lane open at all times, so they can only do it one half at a time. So that would be very costly and very, very unfair to the homeowners. It would bankrupt most homeowners. So I think $500 as a cost to the homeowner in this regard would be advantageous. It'd be fair and equitable, but that's just my opinion.
Have we had any situations in the past, maybe Dan, where this has actually happened in the city?
Yes, Madam Mayor, we have had just recently, a homeowner had this situation, and we were able to help them out with having Metro Environmental come in and use a root rotor, and it went through and cleaned the roots out of that section of pipe, and so far it's held up fine and hasn't been a problem.
So we haven't had any incident where any homeowner's been assessed for what's being referred to in this ordinance?
No, we have not.
But it's getting that time in the life of our sewer that
Yes.
anything is possible.
Right, well, these sewer lines are about 55 years old right now, and it's clay pipe that's underneath the roads, that is from when the system was originally put in, and it gets rather brittle after a period of time. So if you start to do any kind of work on your property, to say open up the sewer and take the roots out and whatever, there's a good possibility that you could break the crack. And at that point in time, then you would need to dig up the road in order to replace the crack. So this would be kind of a stopgap. Right now, we are subsidizing one subdivision for their water service. So I don't see why we couldn't take on that responsibility. So the homeowner would still have some responsibility for cost, but it would be not outrageously costly for the homeowner. I'm looking out for the homeowners.
Okay.
I'll make a comment. I like the idea of where, the city helps and, putting some type of cap on it. I think that's a good idea. I don't know that, I'd like to know what the other communities are doing. Do they have policies in place? And just what is fair and equitable? $500 doesn't go very far. And it's great that we don't have a lot of places in the city that we're dealing with this now, but if we do, we have to look at a bigger picture. Certainly going under the major roads is a bigger cost. I don't know where $500 came up. Nowadays, chicken dinners are $20 or $25. So I don't know if that's the right number to use. But I would like to know what the other communities are doing. I think that it would behoove us to find out and get back and see if the other communities have something in their ordinances or on their pieces to see what's going on. And then we come up with something that makes sense, that's reasonable, because we don't want to hurt any homeowner. In tens, 20,000s, it's not hard to get there.
No, and if you go underneath the major roads, and then the price goes up dramatically, very dramatically. It doesn't help. It's even more so.
Sure.
Mayor, this is the manager. We're back to where we were. It seems appropriate that with proper direction, staff will request the policies from other cities or the neighboring cities to meet that requirement, and we will have staff meetings to try to draft some language that gets us closer, but I think you're going to table it again tonight, and we won't put it back on until we get a report on that. So staff will begin to do that this week, and perhaps by next meeting we can have a report that gives you an idea how to go. And I think it's a good idea to cap what the homeowner would have to pay. I'm not sure what the cost would be, but we start with tabling it and giving staff instruction to find out what the other communities have in their policies regarding the same kind of activity.
I would agree completely. I think we've got to find a basis to start.
Right, this issue needs to be dealt with very, how would you say, fairly, and also to make sure that we do a good job of looking into this.
So do I have a motion to table to the next meeting?
Wolfsbach will make a motion to put it back on the table and have, with the direction of staff, look into all of the items that were discussed.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion on this? Roll call, please.
Osnick,
Yes.
Woods,
Yes.
Ambrose,
Yes.
Fernandez,
Yes.
Locke, Lublin,
Yes.
Ackley.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Next item is purchase, first item is resolution to purchase city server. I got so many pieces of paper here that and somehow I lost the order for them, so. Anyway, if I'm right, we're on resolution 2023-80.
Yes, good evening, Mayor and City Council. We are here tonight to ratify the purchase of the new city server. As you remember, we did have some discussions during the city manager's budget workshops for this year. This server has reached its end of life as of October of 2023. We did go in for a warranty to extend it as long as possible as we could, but with technology, you want to stay up to the newest and to the best to keep everything secure and safe. So we are working with our independent IT person right now to get that IT server installed, hopefully by the end of October. And this is just to ratify that discussion and purchase. So if we could get a motion for that tonight, I would appreciate that. Or any other questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Okay. It's nice that it's come in under budget amount, too. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Lublin supports, that being resolution 2023-80.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Woods,
Yes.
Ambrose,
Yes.
Fernandez,
Yes.
Locke, Lublin,
Yes.
Osnick,
Yes.
Ackley.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item is resolution 23-81, smart contract.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm going to briefly discuss, if you have any other questions, I do have other people who can discuss. We're here for our annual smart contract for the fiscal year 2024. We are looking to make that resolution for the reimbursement and expenditures used to continue to provide transportation to city residents through our subcontractor, the Western Oakland Transportation Authority, what you guys know as WODA. So we've seen this before throughout the years. It's just our money comes through SMART and goes straight to our subcontractor, WODA. If there's any other additional questions, myself or Mr. Schrader can answer.
With the pleasure of council, do I have a motion?
Lublin will make the motion to approve the annual contract with the Suburban Mobile Authority for Regional Transportation, that being SMART, for reimbursement of expenditures used to provide public transportation to city residents through subcontractor WODA. That being proposed resolution 2023-81.
Move the second.
Okay.
Madam Mayor, before you vote, I would like to have Mr. Schrader, who's your newly appointed representative to WODA, to give us an update on the latest activity of WODA and the last meeting you had with WODA.
So WODA met today. We discussed the preliminary proposed budget for the upcoming year. The fiscal year begins on January 1. As you are aware, the millage plays a large role in the funding of WODA. And that millage and contract with the county, between the county and WODA, is let's just say it's a work in progress. As things change, as communities come into a system, whether it be WODA, NODA, or any of the other transportation authorities, the county works with that organization, that authority, to fund the expansion into other communities. So we discussed that today. There were some purchases of some vehicles. My reception at WODA was not necessarily what I would have hoped.
But what does that mean?
So they did not recognize the resolution or my appointment as the voting member because they did not have the resolution in hand. We worked through that.
They didn't recognize your appointment because they have a resolution, but they passed budgets by motion. Did you participate in the meeting?
I did.
Did you vote?
I did.
Then they recognized you.
They did.
It was a foolish conversation by the members of the board.
Well, like I said, we worked through that.
Go ahead, keep your...
I would ask that the resolution that is before you be amended to strike the third whereas, as it is no longer appropriate. The vehicles that we had received through SMART, through a lease, has been reassigned to WODA itself, so we no longer are in possession of any vehicles through SMART, and WODA has obtained the lease, if you would, for those vehicles, and they are going to be responsible directly for any upkeep, maintenance, insurance themselves without us having to do that. So that third whereas clause is no longer appropriate.
How much is the budget for WODA?
The one that was being proposed is somewhere in the neighborhood of $6 million.
How much?
$6 million.
And what was the package? How many pages was the budget proposal?
One.
That's what I thought. Was it passed by resolution?
It was not passed. It
Well,
was
that
not acted upon.
That would make sense. One-page budget with $6 million in it? I think we're done. Thank you, Mr. Schrader.
You're welcome.
So I'd like to amend my proposed resolution to strike paragraph 3 in our worksheet.
We're talking about the whereas 3.
Whereas the city of Walled Lake does administer the SMART program by maintaining the vehicles and using dispatch, we don't own any vehicles any longer.
Well, the third whereas, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, so you're amending your motion. Does the supporter,
You need a second on that?
That would be, I think, Ryan.
I'll adjust my motion for that.
Or adjust your second.
That's correct.
Okay.
we'll get it. Okay, do we have any further comments or questions on this?
Are you voting on the amendment?
Yes.
Okay. No question.
Hadn't got that far yet, but yes, we'll start by voting on the amendment. Okay, roll call, please.
Hernandez.
Yes.
Locke. Lublin.
Yes.
Osnick.
Yes.
Woods.
Yes.
Ambrose.
Yes.
Ackley.
Yes.
And now we will vote on the main motion, Madam Mayor.
Okay,
You ready for roll call?
yes, please.
Ambrose.
Yes.
Hernandez.
Yes.
Locke. Lublin.
Yes.
Osnick.
Yes.
Woods.
Yes.
Ackley.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. The next item is Resolution 2023-82. Appropriated funds authorizing WRC to repair or improve.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. We do have annual meetings with the Water Resource Commission, who helps oversee our water and sewer system. So we did have that annual meeting this year with city staff and Oakland County, and they did bring to our attention a necessary repair that we need to address sooner than later, and that is to replace a valve in our pressure relief vault. It's the one located off of Decker Road. And if you have any more further details on the ins and outs, we have our DPW Superintendent, Dan Ladd, to address anything more in details.
Dan, why don't you come up and give a quick briefing on that?
Madam Mayor, Council, City Manager. So yes, WRC, as Chelsea said, we had our annual meeting and they proposed putting a shut-off valve just north of the pressure relief vault. There are 2 pressure relief valves in the vault. One is on a bypass and one is on the main supply line. The one on the bypass is inoperable. They want to repair it, replace it, and also do some maintenance on the other one. And it's much safer for them to put a shut-off outside of the pit so they can shut it off on the Great Lakes Water Authority side and on our side. And that would also reduce the number of residents that would be without water while they're doing this repair. Right now, the shut-off that they would have to use is all the way up just north of Leon, or at the intersection of Leon and Decker. So it would reduce the amount of impact on the residents, and it would be a much safer operation for them to work inside that vault with live pressure being in the vault. So that's the reason they want to do it.
Thank you, Dan.
What's the time frame when they install this, the shutdown?
To install the valve outside of the pit would be 1 day. So the residents would only be without water for 1 day, and then they'd be out of boil water notice for 2 days after that.
This would keep the whole city?
No, just residents between Leon and 14 Mile. Not to include Lake Village or the church, because they're back fed. So it would just be a couple, like 5 residents on Decker Road.
Okay, what's the pleasure of council?
Osnick will make the motion, a resolution appropriating funds and authorizing WRC to repair Wall Lake's pressure relief valve, PRV, to improve operations and safety of the water system. This being resolution 2023-82.
Is there support?
Lublin supports.
Okay, we have a motion, we have support. Is there any discussion?
I have a question. The funding of this, is that through, I believe it's in our water bills? There's like a savings amount, so this is saved money. That's why we saved it, and that's why we have the money to pay for this repair. Is that correct?
Yes, it's going to be coming from the capital reserve, and there is money.
Great.
It comes out of your paycheck.
No.
Wait, well, let's not go there. Let's not go there. There is no paycheck.
I have a question, and I apologize, probably for Dan more in specific. Where exactly are these pressure release vaults located?
To be just north of the meter pit, right at 14 Mile and Decker Road on the west side. You see a couple of electrical boxes there. It says if the lights flash, you call police department. So it's, and they're all covered in concrete.
Yep.
Okay.
That's where they're at.
Perfect. Thank you, Dan.
Okay, any other questions? Let's do a roll call, please.
Block, Lublin,
Yes.
Osnick.
Yes.
Woods.
Yes.
Ambrose.
Yes.
Fernandez. Yes. Ackley.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, we're on to resolution 2023-83, Oakland County assessing contract.
Yes, this is a proposed successor agreement between the City of Walled Lake and Oakland County Equalization, who essentially serves as the city tax assessor. The city has been utilizing the county equalization as the city tax assessor for many years. The current agreement expired at the end of June this year. It was just a short one-year agreement. This agreement is proposed for with a 2-year term, and it covers the essentially the same services that the Oakland County Equalization has always provided. While I'm not in any way suggesting that the council should not approve the agreement, in reviewing the agreement, there were some differences that I did want to just make you aware of. And those differences primarily concern equalization's role as it pertains to the MTT tax tribunal cases, which are the appeals of the taxable value that's been assessed by the city. There's language in there that changes the scope of the services that they'll be providing. Essentially, they're going to be doing less and asking the city, primarily the city attorney, to be doing more as it relates to the processing of the tax appeal cases, which is not a big deal. I already play an active role in the defense of those cases, so I'll just be doing a little bit more than what I would normally be doing. The main difference really is new language that says that they are now the final decision maker on the tax appeal cases. That's somewhat significant. Typically, as these cases go through the process, most of the cases, like court cases, are resolved through a settlement. And in the past, the city has always been the final decision maker as to whether or not you should settle, how much, and what should the terms be. This new language seems to suggest that Oakland County Equalization will now be the final decision maker on those tax appeal cases. That's what the contract says. Now, whether or not they interpret it and apply it in that manner, I don't know. We're going to just have to sort of take a wait and see. But they did add that language in there for a reason. They typically are motivated to settle cases, whereas the city may be less inclined to settle cases simply because the case goes on through the process. There's a lot of work at their end that they have to do, and that they'd probably rather not do. But we'll just have to wait and see. It's just going to depend on how equalization interprets and applies this new provision, and if it's a problem, I'll certainly bring that back to your attention.
Have we had any of our cases that you think would have been a problem if that clause was, I know it's hard to tell, but have we usually been in agreement with the county?
We work through it. We work together on the cases as a team. Their main role is to determine, is to do what they call a valuation of the property, which is an individualized, detailed report of the property's value. They look at different assessing, they evaluate the property value and different assessing valuation theories, and then they come up with an opinion as to whether or not the current assessment is what it should be. Should it be higher? Should it be lower? So we kind of have to defer to them if they tell us, if the property is too high and should be lower, then they then give us some options about what an appropriate valuation of the property should be. And we work back and forth with them on that, and for the most part, we haven't had any issues in the past, although recently, since there's been a change of leadership over there, I have noticed that they have been, trying to, persuade us to be more agreeable to settling cases, so to speak. So it's not a big issue. It's not a big problem. I'm sure we'll continue to work collaboratively in the future. But this language does. It says what it says, and they put it in there for a reason. There are other decisions that are made in the cases as well, for example, whether or not to use equalization as the assessor on the case, or whether to use an independent assessor, which, are they going to say that means that they now can make that decision instead of the city making that decision? And if they decide that we should go with an outside independent assessor, then that's a lot of additional cost to the city. They have to do that, so we'll just have to take a wait and see approach in terms of how they seek to interpret and apply that new language. But they clearly want to have more say regarding the disposition of these cases and the bigger decisions that are made in the cases. And that means we would have less say. So we'll just have to see how it plays out.
Yes. We've had them for quite a while, and I want to go back to hiring our own assessor, so.
No, I don't
So
care.
that's the other side,
Yeah.
is to hire our own assessor.
No, no.
Yeah, you have to create your own assessing department. I'm not suggesting, like I said, I'm not suggesting that you do that or that you not approve the agreement. I just want to make you aware that there are changes, that there are going to be some differences going forward, I anticipate, as it relates to their role and their scope of authority regarding the MTT tax appeals.
They want more authority, period.
Yeah, because what we decide to do impacts them. It means, preparing evaluation disclosures is a very time-consuming project. I mean, that's a lot of time that they have to invest in preparing that, and, if the case can settle, then they don't have to do that work. And I'm not saying that they are always trying to do that, avoid, settle a case at all costs, just so they don't have to do evaluation disclosure, but, there is some motivation on their motivations are different than ours.
How much do we pay the county for this service?
Well, it's in the motion, it's in the memorandum. But also, I noticed that it's a 4% increase for this year, and then there's another 4% increase for next year. So as a cumulative 8% increase, and then plus two, they want to put the attorneys under local control, and but ultimate control they want to keep for themselves. So it kind of moots your point, but it costs us more money. So it's kind of a
Mayor?
It sticks in my craw.
Like I said, the alternative is,
But the alternative is.
you and I were both here, John,
Yeah,
for the
yeah,
alternative.
Mayor, from management point of view, we do not want to be back in the assessing business. I believe the last time the city did assessing, you were sitting on council sometime after 1979. So the city did have independent assessors. They have that responsibility. I don't see that any catastrophic decisions are going to be made. It's going to be a little more work. That's just the nature of local government. So we recommend you to approve the agreement and not get us back into the assessing business.
And I would agree.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, I don't want to go back to having an assessor.
Mayor, do you recall what the name of the last assessor was who worked for Wall Lake? I bet you do.
It happened to have been my neighbor down the street.
Mr. Bruce Reeves.
On several streets.
Yeah, quite a while ago.
Yeah.
Good to have institutional memory,
Both of ours.
Yeah. Or any memory.
He's the one that taught me into going on Parks and Rec and getting this all wax going, so. Anyway, needless to say, no, we don't want to go back to having an assessor. No.
Okay. Are we ready for a vote?
I think we need a resolution, right?
I thought we made a motion.
I'm not sure.
Did we have a vote? Yeah, we did.
Okay.
Did we have?
Yes. we
Oh,
did.
okay, all right. Okay, fine.
The clerk's nodding yes.
Okay.
Okay.
She's nodding yes, then we're done. Let's go for a vote.
Resolution.
Roll call, please.
Lublin?
Yes.
Osnick?
Yes.
Woods?
Yes.
Ambrose?
Yes.
Hernandez?
Yes.
Ackley?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. The next item would be Resolution 2023-84, Oakland County Elections Agreement.
Yes, council, it is that time. As you know, with Proposal 2022, there are a lot of changes that have been coming forward. This particular one in the packet, which I did email to you that we received later Friday afternoon, city attorney did review it. It will be an agreement between Oakland County Elections, our jurisdiction, the city of Wixom, and Commerce Township. They are doing regional sites to accommodate the early voting that was passed in Proposal 22-2. So there's actually 18 sites that will exist. We're number 5 of those 18 sites, And there will be a central site that will be part of Oakland County elections that voters can go to. So do you have any questions about the agreement that I could possibly answer for you? It will be a partnership. It will be split in thirds for the costs. Voters can go to the regional site with their ballot and vote. They can still come here on election day. We still offer absentee voting. So it's just a greater opportunity and more time to provide.
If you're on the list for an absentee ballot, you're still there.
So the applications did change. That's another item that changed with this proposal 22-2. Now you have the option to be placed on a permanent ballot list. So if you did select that option, a ballot will automatically be mailed to you versus an application. So now we are going to be sending ballots out automatically if you did opt for that. You can still select back and forth with communication with your clerk's office. However, if you opted for that, you are now automatically going to be sent a ballot. There is no more application for absentee voting.
The absentees will be able to be dropped off here as well as drop boxes.
So we do have a drop box here. It's connected to our building. It's securely coming inside our building, and it's available 24/7. Commerce also has boxes. They have a larger population, so they have to have remote boxes that are checked, the same with the city of Wixom. However, if we get ballots of our partners, then we will have to transmit those ballots back and forth. But we are only allowed to process in our absentee counting board our Walled Lake ballots. If we receive the other communities' ballots, they have to go to their counting board
Who
for processing.
transports those in that case?
It would be assigned, probably myself or my deputy, Ms. Gross, yes.
Okay, so you would go.
In a lockbox, yes, in a ballot container to transfer.
Will this be ready for the presidential?
We are pushing
Goes through.
to get this through for this November election. That's why it's coming to you now. We want to have an opportunity to go through this for November, and then for the presidential, yes, February, August.
I thought there was a 120-day notice.
September 25th would be our notice.
Okay.
So that's why it's before you this evening. Yes.
So this,
Go ahead.
the facility in Commerce Township, which is going to handle Wixom, Walled Lake, and
Yes, the Commerce Township Library will be our site for regional voting.
They're literally going to have voting booths and somebody
Yes,
there?
yes, yes. You will have a site supervisor, you will have election workers from our community, Wixom's community, and Commerce Township, vice versa, throughout the 7 days. And then it'll be,
7 days.
I'm sorry, 9 days, 9 days, but it'll be manned by 7 people. And then it'll operate 8:30 to 4:30, starting October 28th, running through November 5th, and Thursday's a 12 to 8 p.m. day.
Very good.
Will those people be assigned by you?
So they had asked for us to provide individuals that had an interest in it, so we are given names and information to them, but it's going to kind of be a lottery of local individuals. So if Commerce maybe has more that are available throughout the time, then they will populate more days than what my election workers will populate. We have a smaller entity here, so I hate to burn out those that come and work that entire day on election day. But it is going to be very interesting. I'm excited for it. I want to see how this will. It's going to be a good adventure, and especially partnering with Oakland County. Joe Roselle is stellar.
Mayor, might I speak? We're well situated to handle the new stuff. I'd like to take a hand. Raise your hand over there if you're a certified municipal clerk. Mayor, we got this. All 4 of those professional ladies over there have been certified as municipal clerks after their appointment and employment with the city of Walled Lake. We've been working for years on that. We got this. Thank you, Jennifer. You did a great job explaining that.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, I know we didn't do a motion on this.
No.
Do we have a motion on this one?
Lublin will make the resolution, proposing resolution of the city of the City Council of the City of Walled Lake approving agreement for election services between Oakland County and Charter Township of Commerce, City of Walled Lake, and City of Wixom to conduct early voting, that being proposed resolution 2023-84.
Is there a second, please?
Second.
Do we have a second? Do we have any more comments or questions? Roll call.
Osnick,
Yes.
Woods,
Yes.
Ambrose,
Yes.
Fernandez,
Yes.
Locke, Lublin,
Yes.
Ackley.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item is proposed resolution 2023-85, the purchase of a patrol police vehicle. Mr. Fire Chief, please.
29, Mayor? 29.
I got the wrong tie on, I'm sorry, please sit down.
I apologize. The patrol car purchase is still continuing to be a difficult thing. All my colleagues have the same issue. The fleet vehicles are getting pushed to the back of the bus, and we were fortunate enough, Deputy Chief Kolke located a 2023 Dodge Durango that someone had backed out of on the LaFontaine lot up in Lansing, and we're asking for you to ratify the purchase of $42,410. We would be removing a 2015 Dodge Charger from the fleet. Only going to ask for one vehicle this time. The cost obviously has exploded. In 2020, we were paying just over $30,000 for the same exact vehicle, so only looking for one vehicle this time. So.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
Woods will make the motion for proposed resolution 2023-85, a resolution ratifying the purchase of a new 2023 Dodge Durango patrol vehicle as part of the public safety vehicle fleet rotation cycle.
Motion Mitchell, second.
Since I don't have my hands on it right now, does this amount include everything that goes in the vehicle?
So the purchase price of the vehicle is $42,410. We'll be rotating this into an administrative position initially, so we're only asking for an additional $3,000 for the outfitting of it to get it on the road, and that would be from Canfield Equipment, and we're anticipating that forfeiture funds will cover this cost.
Okay. Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Woods,
Yes.
Ambrose,
Yes.
Fernandez,
Yes.
Locke, Lublin,
Yes.
Osnick,
Yes.
Ackley.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Council.
Thank you.
Okay, unless I'm missing something that was added, file of papers here. I think we're done with new business. We'll move on to council comments. And we will start with Councilperson Fernandez.
Thank you. I want to say thank you so much to our clerks. On my end, and at my work, it's a different area. We're trying to figure out how to do it too, but you guys have really stepped up to the plate and really done a great job of getting this organized and ready so that we know that the election's secure and we know that our votes will count. So thank you very much. That's all I have.
The only thing I'll say about ordinance enforcement is, to have good neighbors, you have to have good neighborhoods. So we can't move as a city unless, everybody else kind of helps out and pitches in. So that's all I'll say about that. Chief Coomer, again, thank you for your years of service. I think everything but, your second month in a row of 4-minute response time was talked about today. So very much appreciative for all you've done. Thank you.
Mr. Ambrose.
I too want to congratulate Chief Coomer and recognize you for everything you've done within our community. 40 years is a long time, and I don't think Walled Lake can thank you enough for everything you did and everything you have done. That's all I have.
Mr. Olson.
As always, it's been fun. It's been an interesting 40 years. Actually, it's been an interesting longer than that. But, yeah, thank you. Thank you again. And as far as our our representative on the WOCA board. I hope you have more success in the future. And as far as our DPW, they're doing an outstanding job. They're in the park just about every third day, mowing the grass and taking care of business. They do a wonderful job. And I want to congratulate Heather as being the interim police chief. That's a wonderful kick-up. Thank you. Thank you all. And the staff, especially Hannah, she does a remarkable job. But also Chelsea and Miranda, who is now going to change her name because she's no longer Miss Gross. She's now a married woman. She's a married woman.
You couldn't let that go.
Congratulations. Congratulations on your
Congratulations, Miranda.
Thank you.
And Jennifer, as always, you do an outstanding job. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Jim, thank you. You know, we've seen a lot of change, and here we are today, and really our team excels because we all work together, and you guys do a great job, and from our leader here as well. Thank you. Those are my comments.
Those are your comments. I think I've said most of mine. Thank you, Jim, from the bottom of my heart for your years here. It's kind of interesting today with the city manager going down memory lane. Kind of scary how many memories there are back there, but it's been a long time. But I echo everyone's sentiment. We have a great staff, and for the size of the staff and the amount that's accomplished here in Wall Lake, it's amazing, and I'm very proud of everyone. So with that, if there are no other comments, I guess we can have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Ambrose will second.
Anybody vote against that? Okay, I don't hear anyone, so that means everyone's in favor. Let's go home.